Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to talk about my story with Ninja Gaiden. So, it's been 27 years in the making, but on April 3rd, I finally beat this damn game. And I want to share my story about that and kind of tell you a little bit about it if you don't know that much. Originally, Ninja Gaiden was released in the arcade as a side scroll and beat 'em up that frankly had one of the baddest ass continue scenes that you'll ever see. Where you hit Hayabusa's laying on a table, there's a circular saw coming down on top of him, there's demons and shit in the background. It's amazing. Go look it up on YouTube. But anyway, it was kind of a mediocre beat 'em up. It wasn't that great. Now, shortly thereafter, it was released on home consoles, specifically the NES. And it came over to the US. They changed the name. I'm not going to get into all that boring crap. But essentially, it turned into being one of the top games released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And quite frankly, one of the most difficult. Um, so you guys can go and look up more about that. Y'all can watch playthroughs, but I'm going to tell you my story about it. I remember getting this game when I was 89. I would have been 7, and it just kicked my ass all over the place. I think at the time I may have not been able to get past level 2 or 3, but either way, it kicked my ass. I went back and forth with it, and eventually I just kind of gave up. I played it, college years or whatnot, a little bit through emulation, but here recently, like I said, April 3rd, I finally beat the son of a bitch. And there's a long story with that, and I'm going to get into that here in just a second. But anyway, I picked it up at a place called Play and Talk in Alabama. And if you're ever in Alabama and they have one in Mississippi, stop by there, check those guys out. They're pretty freaking awesome. I'm obviously not getting paid for this. There's only like 7 people that might watch this anyway. But still, if you're one of those 7 and you find yourself in Alabama, by all means, go check that place out. Give those guys some money. They have good prices. So, yeah, that's all it has to do with that. So anyway, I get back from Alabama, Ninja Gaiden in hand. I'm excited as a schoolboy on his first date. So I plug it in and I get going. I work a lot, so I don't have a lot of time, which means that I can only play games for maybe an hour or two a night if I'm lucky. That's, sharing the TV. I mean, I don't have a big place, so I don't have a dedicated games room or anything like that, and I have to dad, and you know how that goes. So I start playing through. I get past the first couple bosses, kind of call it a night, and I leave the NES on. I push it under my little entertainment center so our crazy ass cats can't get to it. My son isn't going to mess with it, so we're good as far as that goes. And I come back every few days and I get a little bit farther, a little bit farther. And eventually I reach level 6. Level 6 takes the difficulty of this game and turns the son of a bitch up to 11. It's just that damn difficult. It's cheap, it's hard, and it's long. Please don't take those last 3 things out of context there. But yeah, it was kicking my ass all over the place. I must have played this for an hour or so every night for 2 weeks, and it's just kicking my ass and kicking my ass and kicking my ass. And finally, I make it all the way to Jacquio's first form. I've got 3 bars of health left, 0 lives, and I die. And I didn't know at the time, but after I reached Jacquio, I did not realize that it kicked you all the way back to the beginning of level 6. Not 6-2, not 6-3, like if you died in one of the previous, levels, it just sent you back to the beginning of the 6-X. No, it sends you all the damn way back to 6-1. So, needless to say, I got pretty damn competent getting past level 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, etc. But the 2 floors before Jacquio just kicked my ass all over the place. So, to make a longer story short, I finally get back to Jacquio. I can get through I can beat his first form, and most of the way through a second form. So it was still something I was working on, but it's like, fuck yeah, I can do this. So I sit down, and, well, actually, I'll take it back a little bit. It's WrestleMania night, or day, and I have fuck all planned. I'm not doing anything besides getting in my pajamas, sitting on the couch, hanging out with my kid and my wife, and doing fuck all. So I get the idea of, hey, I'm going to play Ninja Gaiden. I'm going to finally beat this shit today before this starts up. So I, go downstairs, I pull the NES back out from under. Now, keep in mind, it hasn't been turned off in 2 weeks. I turn the TV on, and everything looks good. I unpause it, move you around a little bit, and awesome, we can do this. So I'll pause the game, set the controller back down nice and gingerly, go cook some breakfast, come back, turn the TV back on, and I am greeted with a glitch screen. It's all fucked up. There's numbers, letters all over the screen. I have a picture of it. I'll probably post it maybe here, there, fucking somewhere. I don't know. But I'll put it up to show you what I found whenever I got back. I may or may not have actually cried a little bit that day. It just pissed me off so much that I put that much work and effort into it, and to just get shit on. But I'm a big boy. What do? I break out the motherfucking Game Genie. That's right, because fuck it. I'm an adult with important things to do. I don't have the time to go through all that shit again. So after cleaning it and dicking around with it, I didn't want to cheat too badly. I didn't want to give myself infinite health. I didn't want to put myself at, loading the game at Jacquio. I wanted a way to make myself be able to get through it back easier to the point to where I was, because time. So I found this interesting little code, and what it did was it mostly removed all the enemies from the game except the bosses. So I kind of justified that. I went, you know what, I can do that. That's fine. We'll just run through all the levels, do a boss rush of everything. I don't have infinite lives. I don't have infinite health. And, alright, I think that's fair. I've made it to the, I've gotten good enough so that I can get to Jacquio with each run of the level. So, essentially, I'm just saving myself time. I know it's something I can do. I can get there. So, I'm not really fucking myself out of anything or making me feel worse. So, I go through the boss rush, and there was something else that I noticed about this code. Everything on the screen that you could interact with, the hummingbirds, the lanterns, all that shit wasn't where it was supposed to be. Which also meant I could pretty much get fuck all for power-ups. They were there, but it was either hard or impossible to get to, or very, very sparse. So I had to legitimately beat all the bosses, couldn't use the little spinny attack. And so I got back through it, and I got back to level 6. Now, there was another thing that happened. The enemies in the game do not appear where they're supposed to be. There were 5 or 6 enemies that, when the game actually loaded them, were in such a place that really kind of dicked you over. In level 6, there was a bird that was spawned when you were jumping off of one of the ladders to another platform, that you had to time just right in order to actually make it, which isn't normal, which is normal for this game, especially if you know anything about level 6 and you got the platform with the little crazy thing that's throwing the inverted crosses, and the bird comes down, and you essentially have to glitch her out if you don't have any power-ups in order to get all the way across. So anyway, I finally make it back to Jacquio. I beat him, I beat the second form, and I finally beat the third form. And I'm all excited because this finally happened. It took 27 years for me, but I finally friggin' beat Ninja Gaiden. And I did eventually go back over the last few weeks and beat it legitimately, without the Game Genie. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the most rewarding video game experiences that I've ever had, because there's such a long history with it. Everybody knows things about it, and I mean the music, the gameplay, the fact that it has cutscenes. It really is just an amazing game. So if you ever find yourself in a game store, or looking through your ROMs and you want to play something, give Ninja Gaiden a shot. It's worth it. It'll make you happy every single time. I can't promise that your controllers or your monitor or TV won't come out of the game unscathed, but I swear it's a great game. Pick it up if you find it, play it, and definitely go through it and at least try to beat it. It's definitely a rewarding experience. That's pretty much it for this time. I'm going to be coming out with a couple other videos here shortly. I'm going to talk a little bit about Dark Souls 3, and actually one of my new favorite games. I got it for Christmas, and I just now had a chance to play it, Shovel Knight. So yeah, that's about it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.